This is Brooklyn, St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics, and this is Ask the Aquaponics Guide, preventing you from becoming a biscuit-headed grower. Now today, we have a late night special. Right now, it's 12:34 a.m. This is Thursday morning. You guys are going to see this video come out Thursday afternoon, but the show must go on. Woo! No matter how late it is, we still got to get it in. So today we have a blueprint review from a gentleman by the name of Matt. And this video here, it doesn't have a video that Matt sent to me. It just has the blueprint. And I told him that I would do this. He submitted this a few weeks ago. I told him I would do it. I'm a man of my word, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Even though I told everyone else that all the questions have to be accompanied with a video, but this is the last video that is going to have that. And after that, all questions must be accompanied by a video, and then they will be answered. And there's a lot of videos right now in the queue, so send them in, brooklyn@theschoolofaquponics.com, and then we can go from there, help you out, and then see what we can do. So right now, let's get into the blueprint and see exactly what Matt has submitted. Let's see what we can improve on, what he's doing good, and the feedback that we can give. Okay, so we have the setup here. The first thing I want to do is give you a quick overview on what we're looking at. So the first thing we'll start with is the sump tank down here, which has a pump here. It looks like it has a split flow. Let's start over here with the plant production area, and it goes up, splits over here to this deep water culture trough, goes up, splits here, comes up, and it splits up here at the top, and then it's gravity fed all the way back down to the sump tank, which also connects to this split flow here, which comes all the way over here to the fish tank, comes up. Boom, looks like there's a secondary pump in here that's pumping water over here to the radial flow filter, leaves out, goes to the biofilter. Biofilter goes back to the sump tank. So this is basically it's just a basic setup, and I want to give a few recommendations on this type of setup. I like basic setups. That's exactly what I like to see. There's a few fancy things in here that we might want to have to reconsider. So let's start here with this with the plant production area here. You have it splitting flow over here to the deep water culture troughs. Now, one thing I would recommend is, you have it split to each one. I would recommend, instead of splitting each one like this, I would just gravity feed these type of this type of setup. So I would bring it all the way up here to the top, and then I would just gravity feed it from this one, from the top one to the secondary one to the third one. That's exactly how I would do that, because that's going to save you on the size of pump that you need. If you do it this way, you're going to have a larger pump. This would work for other systems like vertical systems, NFT systems, where the flow rate is a lot smaller and there's not a lot of water that needs to be replenished in those type of setups. So you can do it this way though. You're just gonna need a larger pump, and you may not feel the effects on a small scale, but if this was a large scale system, you would definitely feel the impact of the cost and the pump size associated with this type of setup. So that's one recommendation that I would, that's one thing that I do recommend. Now come over here to the fish production area. You have it pumped up here. This is fine. Now you have a secondary pump here. And I don't know why you have this here, Matt. You got some explaining to do, but this right here, I don't see any purpose of having this. This is unnecessary from what I'm seeing now. If you have any other reasoning why you're doing it, you need to let me know. But from what I'm seeing, a secondary pump, all it's doing is adding an extra point of failure, and it's not really adding any benefit to the system. It's not doing anything, because if you had it, you could just gravity feed this from the fish tank down to the radial flow filter, and that would suffice for this setup. So I don't know why there's a secondary pump here. So this is something you may need to reconsider. Extra bill, and it's an extra cost, extra bill, and I don't see the benefit. So from there, radial flow filter, coming over here to the biofilter. Biofilter, we can get rid of this. Biofilter, done deal. We don't need this. These deep water culture systems, the plant roots are submerged in the water, which means that the biological, there's a sufficient biological surface area for nitrifying bacteria to colonize. So we don't need any extra separate biological filtration, because the roots are provide enough surface area for that to occur. So we can get rid of this biofilter. Instead of this biofilter, what you need is netting, what I call netting. And this is to process the settables, or the non-settable solids, the fine solids that come out of here. Process those so you can fill this entire tank up with netting, and obviously you would have to clean this periodically to get rid of it, but this is something that is required in order to treat these solids in the system. So that's exactly what I would look to do. Other than that, everything is basic. That's the recommendation that I would have for this. Is a basic setup, which I love basic setups. Allows you to focus on production instead of being the aquaponic runway god or the aquaponic maintenance man god or our beauty pageant. We're not doing that here in aquaponics. We want production. So this is basic. And you have a small setup. I read it was I think about a 6x11 that you have. Let me scroll down here and see what you have. It is, the dimensions of this are 7x11. So it's a small setup. You're just working with what you got. That's why you have the deep water culture systems vertical. You may even want to reconsider doing instead of doing deep water culture system, because these are not the most space efficient. You may want to reconsider and do an NFT instead, and that may help you out. But overall, nice setup, with the exception of those few things that you may want to reconsider or tell me what I'm missing, why you have a separate pump here or extra pump here. And then just reconsider doing these split flows on this deep water culture system. But other than that, very basic. I appreciate you sending your blueprint in, Matt. And this is Brooklyn St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics. Woo! Hold on, one extra thing. Wait. One extra thing before I woo it away. You said something over here about crawfish. I remember that. You wanted to know about crawfish and if they're going to help with this system. I think you want to place them in the biological filter in this area here. Now, the answer to that question is we don't know. I mean, I can give you all type of theories and what I think and all this stuff, but the answer is we don't know. There's no scientific data that would support an answer of a yes or a no if it would be helpful. You have to remember one thing: when you're adding extra organisms in here to consume solids, we have to remember that they're also producing solids as well. They're not just consuming all the fish feces and then using it all for development. They're excreting some of that as well. So I don't know the effect of crawfish, what they're having, or the solids that they have on the aquaponic system. We would need scientific research and data to support that before there's an actual answer. And it's the same thing with worms. Everyone has their opinion on what worms are doing, and maybe they are beneficial. But there's not that I've seen that there's not any scientific data or any research that's been conducted to support what the worms are doing, because worms are also producing waste as well. They're eating fish feces, they're breaking them down, but they're also producing their own waste. And we don't know what type of impact that waste is having on the system. All we have is assumptions and what we think and what the next person thinks, but we don't have any real hard evidence. It all sounds good. It's all, it all sounds good. It just sounds great. It's a great story, but we don't know what it's actually doing when it comes down to the hard facts. So that would be the answer to that question there. I'm not sure. It's worth a try, but until some hard scientific data comes in, I can't give you a final answer on that. So with that being said, this is Brooklyn St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics. Woo!